The idea behind the Amulet was to create an amplifier that had the single-ended classic Supro Class A sound, but had a whole bunch of features added onto it that would allow you to use it effectively in the recording studio, for at-home practice, or also on stage at a club gig. The Amulet was derived from a previous Supro model called the Comet. With the Amulet, aside from the obvious cosmetic changes, we've also brought out the front facade of the amplifier to represent some of the old school 1950s Valco-made amps in this style. And of course, we've also expanded the equalization section, the power attenuator, and added this premium speaker to make the Amulet the finest 1x10 combo Supro's ever made. The preamp in the Amulet uses a 12AX7 tube to add gain and drive the signal downstream, where it hits a 2-band EQ for treble and bass adjustments. One thing that differentiates the Amulet from some of the other amps in our line is that it uses the preamp stage to create the tremolo. So the oscillation of the tremolo happens up front and that flows downstream into the reverb, as opposed to some of our larger amps where the tremolo is actually in the power section after the reverb. Both the tremolo and the reverb effects in the Amulet are all tube driven. There is a 12AX7 tube creating an LFO that modulates the bias of the preamp tube to create the tremolo, and there's a 12AT7 tube that drives the reverb pan. The reverb level control allows you to take the reverb from a real subtle, little bit of ambiance to a pretty splashy and gained up reverb when you crank it up. For the first time in a Supro amplifier, we've also included a 3-way variable power attenuator, allowing you to take that 15 watts down to 5 watts and then all the way down to 1 watt without significantly altering the overall tone of the amp, but letting you use a lot more preamp gain without getting so loud in the room. The Amulet comes loaded with a premium Celestion Creamback 10-inch speaker. It's an 8-ohm speaker that's made in the United Kingdom and was specially selected for the way it matches the voicing of the Amulet. You keep the volume knob down below noon, it has a shimmering clean tone. You can play jazz or any kind of funk music on it. Then as you turn it up, you dime that volume knob, this amp has plenty of gain. And for those type of players who control the volume from their guitar, you can get a huge spectrum of tones, from crystal clear clean when you turn your volume down to screaming rock and roll overdrive when you turn it all the way up. That's how I like to use the Amulet. We got together as a team and composed a piece of music that would show off all the sounds of the Amulet, the reverb, the tremolo, and all 3 of the power attenuator settings.